Good day, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fifth video, part 5. I wanted to say a big thank you to Brother Walter and Sister Lisa for pointing out the errors in my last video regarding where the source of the information had come from. So I'd like to fix that mistake and acknowledge Brother Sedrick Yates. And actually, the more I looked into his information, there's quite a lot of layers we can get into. So let's take a look and unpack what Brother Sedrick Yates has. So we are running now 2 calendars. We're doubling down. We got dual calendars. We have the sister and now we have the brother. They're running in parallel, and with Brother Sedrick's information here, this is actually a bridge. December 22 is a bridge for 4, 5, and 6, and Brother Walter his calendar is actually the correct calendar to feed in Brother Sedrick Yates's information. Now, the actual calendar comes from a person called Nick Vanderland from 364daycalendar.com. Thank you, Nick. It's a March 20 equinox calendar, heavenly calendar. So we're going to plug that information in. We've got Sister Holly 2 moons still off the Gregorian calendar, and let's take a look at the data now. So we have Brother Joshua's information. I've already covered Sister Holly's information, and now we're adding in Brother Sedrick Yates's information of December 22, 4, 5, and 6, December 22 to 24, the 3 days of darkness, Sunday, the 7th day, and the new 25. We have 8, 9, 10, October, November, December. This is actually connecting. We can see here the 10th month referring to December, and the same pattern he had with Holly, where Easter is Eastern. Okay, so here we have Christmas is the Eastern Orthodox Sunday, right? And Sunday is the 7th day, is the new 25, right? So let's get into it. So here we have the heavenly calendar, the equinox, March 20 built in. So we have December 22, and actually we can see it here. So we have 4th on the equinox calendar matches up with December 22. So we have 4, 5, and 6, and that actually takes us to Christmas Day, right? So we have 4, 5, and 6 takes us to Christmas Day, which is the 25th of December. And now we add another 25 days, and that takes us to the 18th of January, right? So we count out 25 days, it takes us through. So we go from 25 to 25, and that ends up being the first day of the 11th month on the next heavenly calendar. And what's interesting is when you look at it, Brother Walter circled 30th January 17, right? But look at it, 10th month and 30. Does that ring any bells? Well, it certainly did with me. That is Halloween Eve. And what else happened on Halloween Eve? Well, these are the last 2 months of tribulation, right? So we got the 15th of September 2032, and then we have Daniel's end of the 2595 day count, and that also ends on October 10, the 10th month of the Gregorian calendar, October, on the 30th day, Halloween Eve. Again, very interesting that we have a duality moment there, right, between different calendars. I found that very fascinating. So Another thing is the antichrist will be revealed on the 18th of January, because it is the number 666. 3 sixes is 18. We have to go. We have to go by the time gate 25 is open, and January 18 is the first day of the new month. It is on the heavenly calendar. It is 111. So we see here 11th month and the first day, which is a Sunday, as said by Brother Sedrick. Brother Sedrick is the first person to actually give us day of the week, and it's very important because that is an anchor point that we need and that we haven't had until this point in time right now. And you can see how I can get a little bit confused between Sister Holly and Brother Sedrick, because you can see some parallels with their information, right? With the 456, and then you've got the 321, and he's got the 3 days of darkness. Also Easter. There's a lot of parallels in their message, but they are for 2 different calendars. Holly's was for the Gregorian, and Brother Sedrick's information was for the March 20 equinox heavenly calendar, right? And so now when you plug in that information, everything also comes to the same point. So some other interesting things, we have Stephen Burns. There's a planetary alignment coming up, and as you know, there is just a lot of solar activity just bombarding Earth. And when you think it's over, there's another wave that's happening. We've got a lot of earthquakes going on. Also, I updated the day count. Again, we have some very interesting information. So from Brother Joshua's first video, which we got this piece of information from We Fly Soon 2025. I've changed the calendar. I think it's appropriate. We Fly Soon 2025. Thank you for this piece of information, where I originally had it the 10th of August, which is true, but there was a short there on the 9th of August. And from that day count until the 18th, it is 164 days. And when we also take in the Feast of Trumpets, which is, we've taken the day count from the 23rd, we have 119 days. And when you deduct the Feast of Trumpets from Brother Joshua, you have 45. And when you do 45 times 45, you have 2025. I found that very interesting. Also, something interesting, I have a cousin who's come from overseas for Christmas, and I bought him a SIM card. And this SIM card really, I just saw the last number, 1948. I didn't think much about anything else. And then I saw the 255s, and I looked it up, and the spiritual meaning of quadruple 5 centers on major transformation, freedom, and embracing change. And then I started to actually break down the phone number, and we actually got 6, and then 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. We have another 6, and then 3 minus 9 is 6, and we have 4 6s. And the Strong's on that, Strong's H 6666, Hebrew word, translates to righteousness, justice, virtuous acts, highlighting divine standards and not evil, right? And we have 1948, which we know is the birth of Israel. And now we're in the 77th year. Sorry, well, depending on how you look at it, we've still got till May to get to before we click on the 78th year. So let's look at Brother Sedrick Yates's information. Now you'll see here, well, why, Jordan, if you only got one winter solstice, because on this particular calendar, it's only listed as 1 day, but on Brother Joshua's, it's actually slipped over by 2. And that's worked for both Holly and Brother Sedrick, because for Holly's information it was a little bit different, and we'd started back here, it wouldn't have worked, right? So Brother Sedrick's, his 4, 5, and 6 takes you to Christmas, and then we have another 25-day count, and that takes us to Sunday, and they call that the 7th day. And you can add the 2 and the 5, and you can call that the 7th day, right? So here we do have more information. Because of the 325 signals, we get our 777 plus the 7th day is a quad 7. So now we have the 7 churches in Revelation, 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls. Also, the restrainer must be removed before the antichrist is revealed and the day of the Lord begins, right? So I've tried to put this in some type of order, but really from the 17th of January to the 19th, it's just look at it as one big day, because the day of the Lord is coming in, and really we just have to put our faith and trust in Jesus. That's all we can do. All we can do is put our faith and trust in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, born in Bethlehem. That's all we can do, right? We don't know what this day is going to bring. I expect more escalations when it comes to war. With Holly 2 moons, Sedrick gives us the final day, right? Holly, she gives us the day where we lift off into the final season of the 12 days of Christmas. However, lift off, well, what lifts off, right? Think of rockets, space shuttles. Well, what can be in those? They can be weapons of mass destruction. So as of this video, things are heating up in Venezuela. America's bombing Venezuela. You need to start, let me rephrase, war starts small and then escalates, and then it becomes the intercontinental ballistic missiles, and then thereafter that is the big nukes, the atomic weapons, right? So unfortunately things got to get worse before we get closer to the end, and all we can do is put our trust in the Master, Jesus Christ. And it's fitting because with the Eastern Orthodox Church, they have their ship of salvation, right? And it's funny because here we are going from the Feast of Epiphany to the Feast of Epiphany, crossing the Jordan River. It just felt so appropriate to put the boat in the river, and this is our ark moment. We got to get on the boat. We got to get on the boat, put our faith and trust in Jesus. We're the passengers and the faithful of cargo of human souls, right? And we just need Jesus to guide us home, right? That's to him. That's to him. So we just got to get back to Jesus, and he'll take good care of us. And we wait for him to come down and the rapture of the first fruits, right? Now, I have touched it in a previous video, but I'm going to address it again. So I'm still sticking with these as the end dates, right? So keeping true to Joshua's word. My reasoning is on his message, there's lots of imagery, right? And then right here from this day 7, it just cuts to black. And so I talked about in prior videos that we're not changing the message, but from this day 7, comma, we move the comma, and then years of great trouble is coming upon all those left behind on earth. After the 7 years of tribulation, I'll return again in the festival of the Day of Atonement, right? So the whole context of the message changes because people following Brother Joshua, they're looking for the rapture and then the 7 years of tribulation starts. No, that's actually not the case. We're already in the tribulation. It started on the 23rd and 24th of September, right? And it's interesting because it's all the imagery cuts to black, And then as soon as it gets on to the next sentence, right, we have this crack of lightning come through the imagery returns. But for this moment in time, it is absolutely black. There's nothing going on, right? And I found that very interesting. It was like a subtle hint to say, hey, look at me here. And then you just simply move the comma, and from this day 7, and then comma, years of great trouble. It changes the whole context of the message, right? Talked about it before, but I thought it was important to talk about that again. So we have the duality, we have our 2 brothers and 1 sister, and also lots of information from Sister Lisa coming through, particularly with she had 555, and then I come back with quadruple 5. And I found something for Lisa as well in all of this from the first day, right, January 19th to the 18th day. The antichrist is revealed, the number 666, and you take away, so essentially 18 and 19, you deduct it and you get 555. And here you have some very information regarding the first 2 occurrences specifically deal with one of God's punishment towards unrepentant humans during the period known as the Day of the Lord. Wow, I mean, very powerful message, right? So I'm wrapping this up. It's merely an extension of part 4 with a dual calendar between Brother Sedrick Yates and Holly Two Moons. Also note, Brother Joshua gave us the season 23 and 24. We are now at the end of the season. The new moon, which is actually today, 3rd of January, this is it. This is the last supermoon. It's a wolf moon. It's going to be the last gate, 24. The next gate is 25. So we're at the end of Brother Joshua's season, and Brother Joshua is always correct, because from this day 7, which lines up with Brother Sedrick, Sunday the 7th day. I pray you stay safe, people, for the next couple of weeks. Just continue to put your faith and trust in Jesus, and we'll see you at the feast. Jordan signing off. Goodbye.